Okay. Well, here we go. Adelaide by 2 points. Never, ever write this side off. You do so at your own peril. It hit Pittman on the cranium. And going down, trying to get it going is McCabe. He kicks it off the ground. It's a worm burner. Outside in towards the outer wing position. There's McLeod, an absolute star. McCabe just easily takes it across. And Neil, who is on the Adelaide bench?
We have Herbert, Atkinson, Robran and Binky.
And 15 other blokes. And they're all Adelaide men. The football back in. There is Tyson again. He kicks a worm burner. Left half forward, James. It goes back towards the wing. Big Pittman. Look at him. Has he stood up tonight? You betcha he has. Kimmy Costa. Left foot inside 50. Down towards Robram. Can't get it. This is Mark Graham. Can he get it out? Oh, he's going via the Cape. And kicks it finally outside and finds the Arapus trucker, the Australian Salmon.
Paul Salmon, 18 possessions, 10 marks tonight. To the wing goes the kick, and McCabe still on him, Mick. He goes towards the boundary line, and it's over and out.
Yeah, you called it right, Hutto. He's certainly playing alongside Andrew McLeod wherever he goes, does Luke McCabe.
Down to the Hawks bench, Curls.
Hawthorn, we have Treleaven, O'Farrell, Lord and Carilla.
2-point lead to Adelaide. And all those Hawthorn fans trying to lift the home side out here at Waverley Park. The big chant going up. Early stages of this final quarter. It's been an incredible contrast to the game Rex and I called earlier this afternoon on radio. It was a free-flowing game at Optus, but this one is just a real tight struggle, but just as close and as interesting. Close to the boundary line. Tyson Edwards takes it over and out. What do you think, Mick? Which way do you think it might go?
Yeah, I think the way Adelaide are attacking the ball there, just their bodies are going in a little bit harder at this stage than the Hawthorn team. And because of that, I think they'll win more ground-level balls than the Hawthorn team, and they'll get it forward their way. I'm tipping them.
Pittman won it. Knocked on towards Tyson from Costa. And it went over and over again. A real slog. And this does suit Adelaide. If you want to back somebody to win a tight game, you back this mob. Because they never say die. Marvellous contributors to this national competition, and listen to the chant. Knocked out by Robram. Here comes Taylor. Got it to his skipper Crawford. Broke the tackle. A mongrel finger-breaking punt marked by Tyson Edwards.
Been pretty good for them too back there, Mick.
Yeah, he certainly worked extremely hard all night, has Edwards. He's had the job on various players in that part of the ground. He's matched up usually on the smallest forward Hawthorn have got in that part of the ground.
Pittman again providing an avenue out of defence with the mark. Sends it up towards half forward. Crawford waits down. Crow tries to spoil. Did that all right, but James took it and thrust it out in front of Costa. He knocked it on further. Rashudo dragged the ground as he kicked it right to the square. Burton is infringed upon.
And that certainly had to be a free kick, merely because Burton had eyes only for the ball. Lekas was watching the body of Burton. Didn't have his eyes on the ball. That's the reason why he got his arms out across the head of Burton, who should convert.
Can't miss this one, and doesn't. The Crows extend their lead at Waverley Park.
Yeah, what about the deft handball there by Brett James in that contest? He read the ball off the hands of the contest, the marking contest that is, and gave the ball just into the path of Costa, who in turn gave it to Rashudo. And that's terrific play. We see here Rashudo release the ball to Rashudo. Van der Berg, his opponent, tried to tackle and dispossess him, but there's the free kick. 1.5 metre out from goal. Right arm across the shoulder of Burton. Definitely a free kick. Important goal for Adelaide.
7-11 to 7-3. Adelaide really doing well. The Adelaide Crow supporters giving plenty here. Marvellous to see them travel across and see their team. And Melbourne too, housing a lot of ex-Adelaide people who are looking at a great side. Now the gauntlet's placed down to Hawks. Kicked off the ground by Taylor. Here comes Robram, buffeted off the ball. This is Barlow, a high ball. Big flyers wanted. Nick Holland can't grab it. Oh, Bickley was desperate. Dixon behind the stick. They needed that one, and he's cross with himself. And Adelaide still in front. 53 Adelaide to 46 Hawthorn.
One just thinks, Rex, it's so important now for Nick Holland to stand up. If Hawthorn are going to get back into this contest, he's the player across half forward for the Hawks who has to take some telling marks.
He appears to be having one of those nights, Mick. Would you think about moving him, or would you leave him there?
I'd certainly keep him on that part of the ground for sure.
Smart takes it, runs away to the wing. There's a good kick. This man's been good too. Rashuto. 24 possessions, and there's a great kick, as you said. Gallagher runs to 50, sets it up. Adelaide player Burton went down. Leckis took the mark. The handball a bit iffy. Back to Graham. Back to Leckis. Rainmaker. Rodman did well. Oh, Hassel. Well tackled by Downsborough. And I reckon it was a tad lucky.
Yeah, a little bit tad lucky. His hands got free to release the ball. Terrific pressure there by Downsborough. Pittman provided the contest to keep the ball in their forward part of the ground. This is high pressure game.
David Howlett, the umpire. He adjudicated no infringement. Robran for Hawthorn. The ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. Salmon has been sensational. He's taken 10 grabs, and Pittman not far behind him. He's got 8. Plenty more to come. The big blokes are going to lock horns. This time Robran of Hawthorn. Pittman of the Adelaide Crows. And the ball spinning back into play. Over the top, Pittman might have got it. Johnny Hassel, he actually knocked it towards the boundary line. And the football went over.
And Rex, the reason why Robran is competing against Pittman, Ken Judge has actually pushed Paul Salmon to the full forward position. Bassett's picked him up at this stage. Holland's come back out to centre half forward, and Mark Stevens gone with that one-on-one matchup.
Adelaide by 7. Woods sat on top of it. Wintle counterbounce.
He needs Fatty Vorton on the job here. It's like rugby, but I tell you what, it's going to go to the wire.
7 points still the margin. Just outside Adelaide's 50. Pittman got first touch onto it, and Howlett pays a free kick Adelaide's way.
Yeah, to Wintle.
A young Wintle in his very first game will kick from about 65 to 70 metres, maybe a little bit closer.
You wouldn't want to do the wrong thing by Mick. 40 years, he'd still recognise you. He's good on him. Thank God for that.
There's the kick into the square. Burton behind it, cleared the complete pack. Close to the line. James took it over in the end. Woods the tackler. She's over and out. Whew.
Rex, I can't see a lot of goals being scored this quarter. The dew's getting heavier. Ball's harder to control. It's a very tight game.
Well, the ball spinning back into play. Can we get a result here? This is young Whittle putting his life on the line. Eccles dived on the ball. Oh, Stacks on the mill. Kills is right on the job down there. And any score will certainly be an advantage, because Adelaide at the moment just have their nose in front. It's by 7 points, and that is really, really decisive in the context of this game. It's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. Here comes Adelaide again, and Jarman is an absolute superstar, but it's going to be Crode who eases the squeeze for Hawthorn.
He does, looks for Barlow. Gallagher right there with him. Oh, Bickley, little side step, couldn't get clear. Had the handball though. Gallagher, he overran it. Barlow couldn't squeeze out an effective kick. Look at Edwards, just shows them the footy. Onto the left boot, into the pocket. Good defence by Hay. Jarman couldn't get a clear kick. He'll have a second go. He's caught. Just kicked it at the right moment, and he found someone. It's amazing. He found Eccles, who's 60 from goal. He wants some options. 4 sets of players back close to the goal line. Doubling back, making leads this way, then that. To the goal square goes the kick. Burton, third in line, James, against Woods, and Woods concedes the behind. Adelaide now advance to 7-12-54 to 7-4-46 Hawthorn.
I think one pertinent point that Malcolm Bly can certainly take out of this game, when the pressure's been on, it's been their senior group of players, the likes of Bickley, Rashuto, Jarman at times, Smart and Hart. They're the ones that have really stood up, and the inexperienced players, the 4 names mentioned in Burton and Benke, young Gallagher and Wintle, they've certainly been there and created a bit of enthusiasm as well.
Tony Woods brought it across to the bailiff, but here comes Hay. Jonathan Hay put it straight down the throat of young Crode. He went to half forward. Nick Holland's had a dirty night, but this time the umpire said play on. Here's Rashuto, a high giraffe kick, and here's Johnny Hassel. Took it well, hand passed it off. Oh, put Crode under enormous pressure. Canberra's boy, went to half forward. Here comes Angelo Lekas, went through like a very fast train. James got it on Rashudo. Rashudo on the left boot. They're building. Burton takes another mark, runs the 50 and kicks a long ball out of bounds.
On the full. Yeah, he certainly can find the ball, can Burton, but one thing he'll have to work on in the coming weeks is his conversion rate. He's probably had the opportunity to kick 3 or 4 goals tonight.
The kick accurate, and Graham takes the mark. See, the Hawks have just struggled in recent times getting it out of the fence, Mick, haven't they?
Yeah, they've certainly bottled up one side of the ground. That's why Graham's asking his players to push across, maybe run to the open side of the field, trying to get some run from that part.
To a contest, they sort themselves out. Richard Taylor crashed into the ground. Fierce tackling Costa. And the umpire, again, forced to bounce. We're getting towards the halfway stage of the last quarter. Kenny Judge on the phone. Never looks happy, Kenny. And he'd have reason to frown after the Hawks made an excellent start at Waverley Park tonight. Over the top, the tap came down, and Adelaide, just fierce tackling Tyson. Costa now, Hassel. See, that's like rugby league, like we said before, Rexy. Crawford knew the boundary line was there, and he found it 60 around from Adelaide's goal. You just can't see Hawthorn scoring at the moment, Mick.
Yeah, well, they just can't get a bit of run from the midfield. Maybe a player like Trelevin or Lord should go to that part of the ground. They're both on the bench at this stage. Maybe their ability to break up play and use the ball effectively could be used in this tight contest.
Ian Downsbury got it down. Woods looked for Taylor. Taylor fell over, copped one high, and the umpire saw an advantage played. Going through there is Vanderberg, a long kick down towards Holland. The cranium Mark II. He's gone shining in the evening light. He's a star. And Nigel, big smart, goes down to half forward left. Here comes Graham. James put his life on the line and Woods took it over. They're too tough. And Curls, I tell you what, you'd like him in the trenches, your boys.
Yes, they're doing well, particularly a half-back line. Hawthorn just can't seem to get through there with any clean work.
So 60 metres again around from goal. Then Robin behind. Wintle, a hand pass. Back to that man, Tyson again. Wheels onto his left. Oh, it was a lucky kick. James was in front, looked up and said, hey, there's the ball. And he took the mark just on 50.
Well, it's interesting that both these centre bounces have taken place in this last quarter. Brett James has been in the conventional centre forward spot, naturally matched up against Woods, but the 5 other forwards have basically started in the goal square.
So James starts and then decides we'll go for a second take.
This will test him, Hutto.
It will test him distance-wise. If he kicks it, though, the Hawks are in deep trouble. Well, it's going to drop short. Oh, lucky again. Well, again we say lucky, but again they're in front. And it's Ian Downsborough.
It's interesting, you don't know whether that was meant or not, because
tell you what, if that was a set play, it was a fantastic set play.
Well, I remember Paul Coucher spoke about one night down at Geelong, Malcolm Blight instructed all his players to kick flat punts at training. They did it in the game. Forwards react to playing in front, floating balls, lobbing your part. Whether it was a set play or not, I'm guessing.
Downsborough, doesn't matter how, as long as it gets there, and he likes the kick. It's a goal. By 14.
Yeah, terrific stuff, this Adelaide team. They'll get a lot of satisfaction travelling over here to Waverley and actually coming out in front. The game's not over yet, of course, but they've certainly worked extremely hard. We see here the floating kick here by James. There's the contest. Burton, Lekas, close checking. There is Downsborough finding front position, watching the ball. Good clean hands, good clean mark. Went back and kicked the goal. Good play.
So Ian Downsborough with 2 goals. And Malcolm Blight happy? Well, I don't know. He'll only be happy when he gets his 3rd Premiership Cup for his hometown Adelaide. Hawthorn now are called upon. Nick Holland. Oh, it was a shocking kick, but it went down to Dixon. He's on his wrong side, but a right-footed kick has gone behind the stick. And Hawthorn must score the next goal. It's getting away from them in the context of what we have seen in scoring. And they're 14 points down. They'll need 3 straight kicks to get in front, as Bassett will come back and put the ball back into play.
Yeah, I think Downsborough was credited with 2 goals there, Rex, but I think on our graphics here with Channel 7, it should have been awarded to Jarman, the one that kicked just in the latter stages of the second quarter. down to his only kick one.
So Bassett is kicked. Hasn't Pittman worked hard? We talked about Salmon's work, but Pittman, 14 kicks, 6 handballs, and 9 marks. And David Pittman, he's not going to be worried with the clock counting down. 13 points the margin. Graham chips in and takes the mark. Over to Holland. Maybe he's up the ground a bit more now, Nick Holland. And he's running and he's giving the handball off to Richard Taylor. Through the middle. Hawks desperate for a goal. The big fish is up forward. Bassett worried him out of it. Gallagher gets back and cleared it. Stevens marks, says, oh, smart a fumble. Graham comes in. He's pushing forward. The Hawks desperate. Lightning hand pass Harford. Joel Smith, your new club needs a goal. Only a behind. And they're back within 2 even kicks now. 48 plays 60.
Gee, I do like the look of young Gallagher. He's a young player, picks the ball up, has got great time to use the ball, and more often than not picks out a teammate further afield. Great quality in a young player.
So Hawthorn are staring down the slippery slide. They need a lift. They need a lift in many areas. They've got to try and just get this ball forward after this kick out. And it was a very good kick out. Punched away. Here comes Harford. Going in is young Edwards. Edwards can take his time and kick it onto the wing position. This man down there is Vanderberg. Oh, he's kicked it the wrong way, but it might fall into John Hassel. A fortuitous kick. Hand pass off to Nick. Nick Holland steadies and delivers a long ball. No one at home. Yes! Beautiful mark. Over the top by McCabe. Dixon goes forward. Here comes Salmon. He's taken on by Bassett. Bassett will take it over, will he? No, it's kicked off towards Chick. He breaks the tackle and he kicks it out. On the full.
Interesting matchup now, Bassett and Salmon down there. Do you think both coaches will be happy with that?
Yeah, actually, I've been watching that as Salmon's gone forward. Mark Stevens, who's on is basically stayed at centre half back. Bassett stayed in the true full back position. Whoever's come to them in that part of the ground, they're happy to just do it and just take whoever comes.
Hart takes the grab. Time enough to stroll to a big contest on the wing, the kick. Rashudo couldn't take it. Lord back on the ground. Takes it away, 70 by McCabe. Lord's about 75 from goal. Little sidestep. Got through. Had to kick quickly. Into the square. All Adelaide, but it might be a downfield through. After he kicked it, it's going to come back.
It'll come back because it was incidental contact. That's the reason why the ball will come back. The free kick was given against Rashudo, who valiantly chased to no effect, but he just got his hands in the back of Lord. And as we intimated earlier, he's one player that can win a lot of the ball forward than 50.
Well, he wastes no time in having a long shot. It was straight enough, but it didn't have the carry.
Andrew, I think Greg Louganis will be very pleased with that one.
11 points the margin. 8-12-60.
You reckon? I tell you what, that's like a porcupine fish, Curls. I'm not going anywhere near it. Thank you very much. Tell you what, he's got the old Callip fisherman from the Lower Murray near the Coorong. This is Bassett, a long bomb. Very, very nice kick out to a contest. Over the top. Oh, Woods was cleaned up. Stacks on the mill. Kicked off by Pittman again. Went down. This is Rashudo. Forward and then back. Evening three-step in motion there. Kicked it to a long lead from Jarman, who fell over. The ball comes clear. James allows McLeod to go through. McCabe kicks it off. McLeod very close to the boundary line, and as I speak, it went over. 11 points. It doesn't seem a lot, but in this game that is just seesawed from contest to contest, it's a decent sort of advantage to the Adelaide Crows deep in the final quarter.
Yes, about 7 minutes remaining, and Graham got the clean tap away. The Hawk through Vandenberg, trying to take it through on the wing, and charging through well, Richard Taylor. A bit of the fumbles, and Pittman puts his big frame in the road, gathers it up, sends it forward, almost fell into the arms of Wintle, but cleaning up Colliker, and he's got a man loose. Mark Graham lets the ball come, and then swings it inboard, because he's got a loose man there in Treleaven. So Treleaven on the defensive side of the centre. Hawthorn trailing by 11. Holland provides one lead. Then he goes longer looking for Salmon, but it didn't make it that far. And Ben Hart takes the mark.
They're falling across at half forward. They need a lift. They need 2 goals. Is there enough time left? and Bassett takes a very good mark in front of Dixon. He's got a cramp. You get the Epsom salts tomorrow, son. That'll fix your cramp. Tell you what, Epsom salts fixed everything for me. And Bassett now, including Miss Scone, down towards the wing position. And Mrs. Downsborough's boy gives it a tap. James brings it across his body. A high ball. Mark Graham is there. Stacks towards the boundary line, and as I speak, it goes over. So we're inside 6 minutes, and the time's ticking away. Grode, he wants to lift his side. The crowd start to urge Hawthorn on, and that familiar chant, Hawthorn, Hawthorn, rings across the eastern suburbs of Melbourne.
There's Wintle getting first touch out in front of Tyson. He's been fantastic, and he's happy enough to see it over. 20 kicks, 4 handballs, 7 marks for Tyson. Well, can he judge there, Mick? What can he do?
Yeah, no, they've just got to win the footy and try to get the ball into their forward part of the ground. The congestion around the ball is certainly suiting Adelaide.
Downsborough over the top. Crowd off the ground was clever. Out to the wing, in front. Well, good play by Hawthorn. Graham, can he gather it? Yes. Can he break from Eccles? Enough to pass to Holland, who's taken the mark. And he's taken his 4th mark for the night. He's had a horror night, really, Nick Holland. But if he can stand up now and provide Hawthorn with an option to goal, they'll love him. He goes short, and it's okay. Harford still too far out to score. He's got to look for an option inboard. Oh, he goes around Edwards. He gets out of trouble. He doesn't break the tackle cleanly. Sold Crawford into all sorts of trouble. And the Hawks can't take a trick at the moment. Crawford, legged, went the ground. Edwards, they're all diving on top of each other. Close to the boundary line. They're all putting arms up. Bickley there. And Harford.
The frustration on Harford.
Yeah, sensational play by the Adelaide team all the same. They never conceded. Edwards chased and tackled. The tackle on Shane Crawford by Costa. Got the ball forward. Just terrific stuff by the Adelaide team. And that's the reason why they are in front at this stage. Their pressure at the ground level ball's been far superior than Hawthorn's.
Not many premiership hangovers. They are going as tough as they were the last 2 years on that last Saturday in September. Love them or hate them, admire them, and then other sides just look at the tenacity of Adelaide at this stage of proceedings, but also Hawthorn having a red-hot go. Kicking it forward, there is Colliker down to half forward, the big fish trying to work his guts out for his side. Coming through, the hand pass came out, Ben Hart. The whistle might have sounded. The umpires picked it out to Mark Stevens, who's been a very, very solid defender for Adelaide. He's put it down twice on the greasy ground. And outside 50 goes the football onto the centre wing. They might have shot their bolt, Hawthorn, as the ball finds the boundary.
Rex, full marks to all the players out here tonight. They are really working their insides out.
It's a red-hot, good old-fashioned go of Australian football, Anthony.
And it's on the wing. Inside 4 minutes now, the Hawks not giving up. Taylor, Crawford overran it. Went to ground, but he had support. Supporting cast led by Taylor. Taylor and Burton both in action tonight. Up towards their 50. Coming out is the young boy Burton. I was talking about him. His kick was smothered. It's on 50. Desperate stakes. Vandenberg. They're crashing down in like 9 pins. I think that's Harford who's down on screen. Taken away though by Gallagher. Gallagher on defensive 50. Crows finding some time, finding some space. Taken away Bassett, out to the wing. Costa, support Jarman, stood up when he needed to.
And behind play, Harford still down. He showed tremendous guts but got cleaned up. And Rasciuto accepts the Jarman offering. Inside towards the half-forward line. And Tyson Edwards runs to 50. Can he get a goal? Play on, said the umpire. Oh, there's all sorts of trouble there for Wintle. And McCabe and Trelevin screaming for the ball. And Harford had eyes only for the ball. And Crunch ran into Bowie, hit his Scone on the turf.
Terrific courage.
Oh, gee whiz. Knocked out. It went out to the right half forward flank. Adelaide desperate to keep it in their attacking zone. Outside towards young Gallagher. This is Mark Graham. Can he get it off? He kicked it off. Falling on the ball is Taylor. Got it off. And Hawthorn bring it off the half-back line through Crode.
Holland makes the spoil. It's in dispute. Joel Smith. Which way he'll go? Adelaide. Edwards, sloppy handball. Little soccer work from Wintle. And it's all tied up. Well, We're getting towards the end. Hawthorn need to get a goal from here, Mick, or they're gone.
Yeah, they certainly do, Hutto, but credit to every player out on the ground. Look at this for courage. Harford, also Bassett come out and met the contest. Harford coming off the ground because of that act of courage.
Crawford, last-ditched effort for Hawthorn. Oh, he slaps it back. In dispute, Colliker got the handball away when they needed it. Hassel shows it, had no one to go to. Overrunning it, Rasudo, Bickley. They work together. They work well. Adelaide will try and hold it in. Hawthorn won't die. To 11, to the good of Mark Graham to keep them in it. Thundering kick to the square. Sammer, no! And Burton relieves.
With a worm burner outside 50. Don't worry about Adelaide. If ever you want a side to represent you, if you're playing for your life, mighty Mick, Adelaide will do me.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Rexy, but Mark Graham on that occasion, he probably could have ran across the 50-metre arc. He's been a terrific player tonight. He's had 23 kicks and 5 marks in the full-back position. They've actually pushed him up the centre wing, trying to create some run.
There's a free kick to Nick Holland, and Hawthorn will not lie down. And a 50-metre penalty because the ball was not given back to Nick Holland. It was given back to the player to the right.
Joel Smith, yep. Well,
now this can bring Hawthorn in this game as we have under a minute and a half to go. Pittman pushing out Holland, and then the ball was not given back to Nick Holland. And this is a most important kick for this very, very good young former Adelaide player. And Nick Holland has kicked it to the right. And yibbity-yibbita. That's all, folks.
Yeah,
the fat lady is just about to air her lungs.
Yeah, well, you spoke about him earlier, Hutto. He's had one of them nights. He's fumbled. He hasn't marked the ball cleanly. And that's an example of what a night he's had.
yes, the last minute of play now. And well, if that had gone through, what a frantic minute it would have been. Still Adelaide want to be careful. That's out on the full. So Mark Graham to send them forward. And
Must have been out on the full, Anthony.
yeah, it was. And the umpire, I think, has he blown another 50 again?
Yes, he has, because Burton actually
'Cause he
punched the
punched
ball
it away.
away, and that's the reason why they've got a 50-metre penalty. Obviously, the ball was out in the full. Just to explain it, Burton's actually took it in his own hands to get rid of the ball out of that area, and that's the reason why the central umpire has given him a 50-metre penalty. Here we see here the ball's well and truly out. Didn't actually take clean possession, punched it away out of the area, gave him a 50-metre penalty.
Graham from 40 metres. The Hawks are still alive! Mark Graham says yes! The Hawks are still alive! 4 points the difference. Just over half a minute remaining. 37 seconds on the clock. Hawthorn within 4 points. Adelaide holding on.
What a game this has been.
What's your whooper valve, young man?
This is magnificent contest. It's such an important 50 centre square break now. With 30 seconds on the clock to go, what an important centre bounce this will be.
Salmon's in the middle.
I think that fat lady might have sung just a little bit too. 8-8-56 Hawthorn. 8-12-60. A real AFL scrap. A skew-F bounce and Salmon bounced it forward. I don't think Hawthorn can go now if Adelaide can clear it. But the Hawks won't lay down. Time ticking away. Coming through Mark Stevens. A worm burner. Went to the soles of the boundary line. It possibly will go over. It won't go over. Going through is Edwards. Picked up by Jarman. Oh, they're gone now, Hawthorn, but what a great performance by Adelaide. Tyson kicked it forward to half forward. The smart man couldn't get it. The Cranium Mark II pulled off, but he got his kick forward. Nearly a mark. This is Colliger. Here's a go now for the Oak Road, and the siren has beaten Hawthorn. And Adelaide have won a fantastic scrap at Waverley Park. And this side deserved to be known as one of the great sides of our modern game. Back-to-back premiers came here with half a side and have pinched it from Hawthorn by 4 points.
At Waverley Park and tight all night, young man.
Yeah, certainly was. Adelaide just ahead at the start, but the Hawks, then I think between quarters 1 and 3, started to play very well, but Adelaide, just as the third quarter wore on, got in front, and eventually they won in what was a fantastically close match.
It was, and to complete, well, Easter Sunday, we've got rounds tomorrow. Port Adelaide and Freo at Footy Park, St Kilda and Melbourne. And we're calling it here on 3AW. We'll give them a bit of a plug. Carlton and Collingwood on the MCG on Monday. So I tell you what, it's an interesting season, and as I said, Hawthorn can take a lot of solace. We've had a lot of fun. We're back on radio tomorrow. Don't get any ideas, folks. Not going to make a career of this, but this young bloke might. And thanks for being with me, young man.
Been good fun, Rex. You've been a great match.
Thank you very much for being with us. This has been Channel 7 Footy. Good night.